it now with 200 metres to go. Sham Award just the leader from Green Moon and Fiorente. What a battle this is. It's a beauty. 100 left to go. Fiorente and Green Moon raced away. It's Fiorente coming home the better though. And Fiorente wins the Australian Cup 3/4 to Green Moon. Fortella flashed home and got third.
Welcome, punters, to another episode of Worms Whispers Racing Podcast, Super Saturday edition from Flemington. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, mate?
G'day, Worm.
Thoughts on the intro? I thought it was a doozer. I loved the horse. It was up there as one of my favourites. Every time I backed it, it won. I just couldn't speak highly of the horse. Melbourne Cup. Should have won a Cox Plate, Aussie Cup, and the Fian. I think it's a super horse.
One for Gay, that one. Finally, Gay got a Melbourne Cup. Fiorente, what a absolutely cracking horse it was. As you said, probably should have won a couple of other Group 1s. But yes, was all over Fiorente that day. Gay told me I was going to win, so I had to put some money on it. She doesn't do that too often.
Well said. And first lady trainer to win the Melbourne Cup and doesn't get a lot of credit for it, I don't think.
Very well said.
Just wish we could have, hyped it up a bit more than like we did with Michelle Payne. But anyway, we will move on. Pineapple of the week last week, we got back on the board. Overpass, tipped at $2.30, smashed into $1.60, but Top Tote paid $1.80. One well, looks a nice horse, might be worth the follow in the Sydney, but hopefully it goes to the Brisbane Carnival. I reckon it's got some talent. This episode is brought to you by WishBet. If you're looking for a new online bookmaker, please check them out either at wishbet.com.au or type it in your Apple or Android store. I'm using them and I can't speak more highly at the moment. Good odds, good promos. Love it. All right, track stats for Flemington. Rail out 5 metres. It should play even, win from anywhere, as Flemington normally does. A good punting track, but definitely watch and act. We'll move to buying in shares. Matty, you got one this week?
I do, mate. I was a little bit nervous. I almost gave this as a tip last week, but a bit nervous about Crystal Pegasus getting out from the 2000 to the 2600. And boy, oh boy, how impressive was it? It was just sit back, watch, wander across to the bookie and collect that ticket. I think it definitely has now established itself as a hot contender for the Sydney Cup, but just a very, very good all-round horse that has now demonstrated it can stay.
Yeah, it was ultra impressive, and Sydney Cup looks good. I'm going to buy shares in. Definitely add it.
And definitely what were you about to add?
I'm going to add Yonce or Yonce, however you want to go. Win last start, I potted it. Didn't think Barrier 2 was a suitable spot. It won very impressively. This is all its first prep, which I really like. And what really ticked the box for me said the trainer said, wait till it gets to a wet track. Next start goes to Sydney, and we know how their tracks are at the moment. So I'm going to be happy to be on. I don't know what race it goes to, but it's probably going to come up short odds, but I don't care. It'll be winning. Cash out, Matty, you got anything?
Well, we're going to cash out of a jockey. Surprised. Ooh. Probably a little disappointed as well that Brett Preble is leaving Melbourne and heading north to Sydney this weekend, Super Saturday. Now, I understand that a lot of the jockeys are coming down from Sydney. It would have been nice for Brett to stay in Melbourne and challenge himself against the best jockeys going around, but instead he's taken what I'm considering to be the easier option and heading up north. I'm sure he'll have some nice rides up there for Chris Waller, but hopefully it's a short-term cash out because I'm a Brett Preble fan, but I would have liked to have seen him in Melbourne this week.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him too and love it when he was winning last spring, but yeah, he's just not around the mark at the moment, so I agree with you. I'm also going to cash out on a jockey, and I'm going to cash out on Craig Williams. His form of late has been poor, and his ride on Mr. Brightside has ticked me over. I wasn't on it, didn't have any scent on it, so I can't say I'm talking through my kick. But I understand in that race he didn't want to lead and he was just forced to lead. But what is really concerning is from the 1200 meter mark to the 600 meter mark, he was going 13-second splits, and then he decided to go 11:42 after the 600 and the 10:92. I think it was just poor. He just burnt the horse straight away, and it gave the other A grade horses a chance to go past him. If he just went 12.5 up front, I just feel he could have given the horse a better chance of winning or finishing closer. And then I thought, no, I'm going to do some more digging, make sure I'm 100% right on what I'm talking about. Willow normally rides at around 16%, but his last 50 rides are at 8%. That's well down on his normal. In those 50 rides, his winners have been on country tracks or Sandown, and his other metro win was Barb Raider. Until he shows me something, I can't back his horses he's riding with any confidence, especially if he's on a leader. Now, the other leader he was on a couple of months back, Manouche, he went at jumper's speed and almost got a beat as well. I just think he's not riding well and we need to cash out now. But I hope, and he is pretty good at what he does, I hope he comes back, but I can't have him.
Fair enough. Fair enough, William.
All right. Right, race 2. Matty, you like something here?
Well, mate, just before we do move on, I'm actually going to add in a new segment to our buying and selling shares. Now, this is based on a horse that we backed earlier on in January, and then we decided to go against it a few times. So what we're going to do, Worm, is we're going to be adding in a new law.
Yep.
And this law is the rule of law. Now, this rule of law is horses that we will not back against. It doesn't mean we have to bet within that race, but if we're not backing that horse, we will not be having a bet in that race. Rule of law, it's had us a few times. It will not have us again.
I don't mind it, mate. Can we add black caviar and winks into that?
We can.
I know a close mate of ours was backing against black caviar every start.
Yeah,
and you know who it is, and I know you're listening, mate, so you're an idiot.
So, rule of law, if there is a horse that we shouldn't be backing against on this podcast, we'll pop it into the portfolio, and that is the new rule that we will be adhering to.
I reckon we might be adding a few after Saturday, mate, so it will be building this list.
Very good.
Race 2.
Perfect. All right, let's get cracking. Super Saturday. William, have you got the odds there for us for race 2?
Oh, I do, mate. $2.60 favourite. We've got Flying Mascot. $4.20 Turaf. $5.50 Promise of Success. $7 Groovy Kinda Love. $8.50 Rocket Clock. And $21 The Rest.
Perfect. So 3 talking points for me here, mate. You got the speed, the sit, and the flying home. The speed, we're going to say yes, baby, yes on the rail. It'll push forward, but I think you're going to see Minciato push forward and sit on its outside, might even sneak in front of it. You've got the sit, and this is where we'll be spending a little bit more time around Flying Mascot. It'll be on the inside, probably. It'll get a rails run in behind yes, baby, yes. And then you'll have Giraffe on its outside. I can't see too much more speed within this race, Worm. And then you'll have the group of horses flying home. And out of that, the 2 that I really want to be concentrating on is Groovy Kinda Love and Rocket Clock. So from there, there'll be 4 horses that we are going to be talking about. Rocket Clock is the first one. Now, ignore its last start. It didn't quicken. It got back, didn't quicken. So just complete forget run. Expect it to run significantly better once it does to get to Flemington on a good surface. Queuing on board is a huge tick. So it'll drop back and expect it to run on because it can really set a very fast sectional when it comes to the last 400 metres. So one to be watching, and if you're confident that the track is going to be playing fairly, and as you said, we are expecting that to happen, wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple coming from a little bit further back. We'll move on to Promise of Success. Now, it's been racing over 12 to 1400 metres, so the step up to 16 will be a little bit interesting. I'm interested to see how this goes. This prep has been quite solid, and it's ran second to Forbidden Love and to Snap Dancer. So the form's definitely going to stack up here, Worm. Now, it'll sit midfield, and I suspect that it's going to have the opportunity probably just to maybe sit off the rails, maybe 2 back, potentially 3, depending on how it does jump. It's going to have the opportunity to really build momentum into this race and let down when it does get to the 400 metre mark. Now, as I mentioned, it's been racing across 1200 to 1400, so the step up to 16 is probably my only concern for promise of success. Flying Mascot, 5th in the Empire last spring. Now, it's come back into very, very good form. Now, we've spoken about this horse, this preparation. Just got pitted by Probabeel, and then it had its Caulfield win. Only call out there was we did notice that there was a bias, a treadmill on the rails, let's call it. So it may have made that win look a little bit better than what it really was. Within this race, though, Worm, it's going to get a very, very good sit. As I mentioned earlier, it's probably going to be on the rails behind Yes Baby, Yes Baby, Yes. And what you're going to need to see is on the corner, again, it'll need a little bit of luck to get off the rail. But if it runs anywhere near it did in Empire Rose last spring, it's going to be in the finish. Then the last one, and this is the horse that I've got on top, Worm, Groovy Kind of Love. Now, you mentioned it, you've put it into the portfolio, the Yonce form stacks up. Last start, it should have finished a lot closer to Yonce than what it did. It was a little bit of a sloppy ride by Brett Preble. It got away to a tardy start, went back to last, no issues there, generally what it does do. Ran about the 400, 350 metre mark though, had to cross over heels, and it was Yonce's heels that crossed over, lost all momentum and pretty much had to start again. That's when Yonce raced clear, still managed to get within a length of Yonce. J-Mac on, it'll look to get the back of Flying Mascot here, and again, the last 400 metres, Groovy Kind of Love has the best sectionals within this race. So, Worm, where I've landed is Groovy Kind of Love, and we may be having a saver. Don't always like to do this, but we may be having a saver on Flying Mascot. I can see how it is favourite at that 270, 280 mark, but Groovy Kind of Love at $657, I see it as quite an attractive bet and quite confident.
Yeah, I've just looked at the odds then, and it just pricked my ears. I reckon if you like Groovy Kind of Love, wait. I reckon it's just a touch poison, because I reckon they'll come for Turaf or Flying Mascot. Now, you didn't mention Turaf. Why? Or Taraf?
Tarath? No, I didn't. I've backed Tarath this preparation. Last start, we know there was a bias at Caulfield. It was sitting there, and it still didn't. Let's put it this way. I think that race glorified that run a little more than what it would have otherwise been if there wasn't that bias at Caulfield.
Yep.
Plus 1,600 metres. Don't understand why they're going out to 1,600. I say this more as a 1,300, 1,400 metre horse. So, look, I may be proven wrong, Worm, but I don't see it in the top 4.
100% agree with what you've just said, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna. I went looking for Rocket Clock. Just its form lines, Menage, Ice Bath. They read so well. Second up though scares me. I don't like horses second up. But last start it was on a soft 6. I don't think it likes it. Loves a good track. Gets Huey. It's a tick if you like it, but for me. I can't. But the one I do like is Flying Mascot. So I reckon you can push that saver and go harder as well with Groovy Kind of Love. Last start, it had all the favours, but it's 50 metres and through the post, it just went another level. So I reckon it wants the 1600. I reckon it's a better horse when it takes a sit. I just think it's going to be a good horse in this field. Just with Groovy Kind of Love, you're looking at a rating 71 against horses in the 104s. So that's why I reckon you wait. I reckon you could get $12 by race time, even in when they're out in behind the barriers. So definitely won't talk you out of backing Groovy Kind of Love. I reckon I'll have a saver on it. And might just go hard with Flying Mascot. All right, Wishbet promo, car special. Wishbet will pay out as a winner in bonus bets if you back any horse ridden by Jamie Carr that runs second. Applies to all races on Saturday the 12th of March at Flemington, capped at $250. Please check your T's and C's as they do apply. How good's that, Matty? Back Jamie Carr, runs second, you can get a bonus bet. Paid out as a winner.
Giddy up all over that one. That is an absolute cracker.
I don't mind it. I'm actually going to start, while you preview the next race, try and find a Jamie Carr horse. Race 5, Matty, you want to preview?
Yeah, race 5. Have you got the odds there just before you jump on Jamie?
Yeah. Yep. Well, the odds for race 5. Argentia is $3.20. Yearning $5. Barb Raider $6. Artica $5.50. Lavish Girl $8.50. And See You Soon $10. And the rest 20 plus.
Perfect. Thank you, Worm. Now, Worm, talking points here for me. Please remember this is a set weight. You will find every horse within here at 56 kilos. Now, it is important, and who's it going to favour? Probably the more established horses like your earrings, rather than your kind of your second starters like your So You See. So it is important that this is set weights. Not really too usual that we see these within metro meets. Where I see this, Worm, in terms of horses, distance, there's a lot of horses in here that are first up at 1600, and there's a lot of horses in here that have proven that they can get much further than 1600. First time has been Argenta, pretty amazing, now scratched, and So You See. But the ones that are looking for further and are proven over further, being Yearning, Barb Raider, both 1,000 guineas horses. So it's a bit of a mix in terms of what the horses are looking for here, Worm. Whether it's the ones that are suited at that 1,600 metres, there's not too many of them. So it's a bit of a muddled race to preview in that sense. But the 4 that we've landed on here, Worm, the first one being Barb Raider. Now, you tipped us into this one last start, so thank you very much. And it was very impressive across the 1,400 metres. No issues getting out to 1,600 metres. It'll be looking for further, being 1,000 guineas runner. Now, the wide gate doesn't potentially suit this. Now, I think Willow's on board, isn't he? He is. So we just put a line straight through him. I think, as we spoke about earlier, Worm, Willow does have a choice to make, whether he does go back or whether he does push forward. It'll be probably a little difficult to find cover. If he does, I can see it sitting 3 wide. So Barb Raider, I think you need to respect it, but the mapping here certainly does not suit it. Artica, now, well, it was a sharp maiden win, and then at Pakenham at $1.20, strolling. So, impressive horse. This is still a step up. It's going to get into a really good position and probably find itself sitting in the first 4 in running. So, again, at the 56 kilos versus the rest of the field, probably isn't an advantage for Artica. But wow, you can't pot it on its first two runs. I think it'll be very competitive within this field. So not too many knocks on it. Yearning. Now, as I did mention, the 1,000 guineas winner over 1,600, where it came from last. So it definitely does have the turn of foot. I see it as getting the biggest benefit for this being a set weight contest. No issues over the distance, 1,600 metres won't be an issue at all. Probably the question for me is there going to be enough pace in this raceworm for it to be coming from the back of the field? I can see Lavish Girl putting the pace on. It won't need to put too much pace on. I can't see too many others going to be challenging it for the lead. So that's my concern when it comes to yearning is there going to be enough pace in this for it to actually get back and run on? Now, Argentia is the horse that I do have on top. We had it on top last start when it did come second to Lavish Girl. Very disappointing. We had the pineapple on it as well. It was an interesting race when I went back and had a look at it. We've spoken about the buy, so we won't go any further into that. But it did make contact at the 300-metre mark, tried to get out. Once it got out, didn't make any ground at all. Now, whether that be the track or whether it be that it was uncomfortable that it made contact as it tried to make space, it didn't make any ground across the last 200 metres on Lavish Girl. I'm comfortable to set that as a bit of a forgive. If this horse did beat Lavish Girl last start, I can see this starting at even money. So I think if you're getting around that 350 mark, I'd be jumping on it now. The data for this horse still is exceptional and does have it in front of all other horses within this field. So once the big boys do start betting on this race, what time is it? 9:05 on Saturday morning, Worm?
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
You'd want to be on before then. I can see this starting with a 2 in front of it.
Wow.
So, Argentia on top. As I did say, because you've got horses that are looking for further and a lot of other horses stepping up from that 1,400 metre mark up to the 1,600, that's probably my only concern with this race. I don't see there's been a massive issue for Argentia. I see it being able to run the 1,600. It is the only question mark on it. If that's the case, a horse like Artika could definitely be up to this class.
I've got nothing to add, mate. You've stolen the thunder. You've read the race well. One thing with the camp of Argentia, I'll keep hearing, wait till 1,600, wait for 1,600. So we're going to see, we're going to find out if it can live up to the Frankel. Hopefully it does. I think it'll be hard to beat. And Artika, I think it's a good horse. I think it's well under the radar. Yes, the rating, handicaps, doesn't read well, set at level weights. 100% agree with you, Matty. I reckon it's going to the Vinery next start. So if they're going there, I reckon they've got a firm opinion. Oh, yeah, it's coming out of Pakenham. Pakenham form to Metro isn't the greatest of reads, but yeah, it's maiden win and benchmark 58 win last start was
It's too
better
wins have
than
been
what it
impressive.
looked.
I wouldn't worry about it being a Pakenham. It was impressive. There's no doubt
Yep.
about that. So as you said, I think they do have a high opinion of the horse. Just a quick one, and this is more just of reading the form. I mentioned to you Stray. Stray's come
Yep.
in from a quick turnaround 1 week, down from Sydney from a heavy track, and it finds itself in this. How did you read its form within this race?
Yeah, the Janus form reads well. Head of state last prep reads well. I just think the trainer has no idea. Yes, he's got Cummings as his last names, but it's got a big A in front of it. I don't rate him. I think he puts his horses too deep into races and thinks they're better than what they are. Yeah, he's not a trainer I would follow, and it's a horse I would not follow in this strong race.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, we'll move to race 6, the Newmarket Handicap. And what a race we've got. Odds are $3.70 Home Affairs, $3.90 Lost and Running, Artorias $11, Masked Crusader $14, Quantico $14, Spots That 15, Snap Dancer 15, Oxley Road 20, and the rest are higher. Speed map, I think Finance Tycoon leads them down the inside to middle from 5. Home Affairs will be out wide from barrier 16 with Snap Dancer, Oxley Road, and Lost and Running sitting right behind them in the A1 spots. And then the Astrologist and Zootori back towards the inside, and the rest will be further back. Out of the popular runners, Masked Crusader and Artorias, I reckon we'll be back near last because they will jump slowly as they always do. The notes out of this race, the winner will come from the middle and outside lanes as they always do down the straight. I don't think weights will play a part in this straight race. Yes, it's a handicap and there's some big weight swings, but I don't want to play this weights game down the straight. I think we look for the best horses, and we'll kick off with number 1, Masked Crusader. If you like the horse, don't worry about its first up run. That was 1,000 metres. Clearly doesn't suit. The race was over when it was starting to find its gears, and its last 200 is its powerful finish. 1,200 now, straight line speed. I think you can back it at nice odds if you like it. Number 3, Lost and Running. Good win last start against Overpass. Won quite well last week. Has had a jump out down the straight, I think, last week. Went well down the straight. It is a definite danger if you like it. Number 8, Oxley Road. I think this is one for your first fours and trifectas. If you're playing, first up, it was on the rail, and the rail was no good. Peter Moody spoke well of that. Last start, raced wide, and you had to be on the rail. Saturday will get a nice even track, hopefully, and we can see what it's all about. And I think it can run a second or a third, definitely. Number 16, Artorias. I really don't know why people like this horse. He was the flashing light last start. I get it. Best sectional home from the meeting. My concern is it'll jump out slowly near the rear, so you know your fate. As every start, it's been its fate. Yes, it'll be flying home, but what margin is it going to give the lead pack? I think a big one. Yes, it's 50 kilos. Yes, it looks good, but not for me. I understand the training camp trains for grand finals, and this is its grand final, and they've always said this is its grand final, but I just think it's going to give him a head start. So the one we've landed on, and I think it just wins, is number 2, Home Affairs. First up in the Lightning, what a win that was. Definitely made me look like a goose because I potted it. But now, in that run, no other horse got near Home Affairs except Nature Strip. Yeah, forget about Nature Strip last start. It didn't lead, so it doesn't try. Now 1,200 metres, and I think the horse loves 1,200 metres and further. The barrier is a tick. The jockey's a tick. They will take bad luck out and just jump near the lead pack. Look at its Coolmore run last year. They weren't even getting close to it. And I just think it happens again. Yes, the weight swings. It was basically almost weight for age against the big boys last start in the Lightning. So it's, again, against the good horses, it's not giving much weight away from them. Okay, Spots That. Yeah, I just can't. You just got to stick with the big boys, and this is the big boy. Reports are the horse has come on again since its first run. Its coat's come on, and they reckon it was there to win on first up. So I'm scary. I hate to see what it's going to do second up. Bet until it hurts. This is the race we clean up on, punters. Bet with confidence, but gamble responsibly, please. But bet till it hurts because it's going to win. Matty, thoughts?
I couldn't get past the top 3. Masked Crusader, Home Affairs, Lost and Running. I was keen on Lost and Running, but let us know about your thoughts on it, but also the gear change.
Yep, synthetic hoof filler first time. Obviously, they can't get the nail with the plate. So they need something to fill that gap. It's a slight concern. I don't like that sort of stuff. It won't hurt the horse's chances, but it's not a percentage I like to see. So I'm happy to steer clear of it. But if you like it, it's a definite danger to home affairs. Just not for me.
But we'll be staying with J Mac and Home Affairs. I think you
Bet
previewed that one
until it
exceptionally
hurts.
well, and Home Affairs will be exceptionally tough to beat.
Bet until it hurts. All right, race 7. We have the Australian Cup. I'll get the odds up. Should have been prepared. Race 7, the odds. Oh. Think It Over is our favourite at $3. Spanish Mission, $4.50. Cascadian is $8.50. Duas, $8. She's Ideal, $10. And Callsign Mav is $12 and $15 the rest. Speed Map. It's going to be a tricky one. I definitely think Callsign Mav leads. Spanish Mission from 10. I don't know what they'll do. I reckon they roll forward. If it was in Europe, this race, they'd be going back because it loves being back. But Peter Moody likes them on speed, so I reckon they roll forward and just see what's there. Cascadian and Delphi will be sitting right behind them. Still Prince could be 3 wide, no cover. Think It Over might be following it with a Maximal, and She's Ideal Duas out the back with Surprise Baby. Number 1, Cascadian, form lines behind Zaki and Superstorm. Last prep reads well. Been the perfect prep, no knock. Definitely looking for 2,000 metres, and it's McKinnon run. Last prep tells me it likes 2,000 metres. Should map behind the leaders from barrier 2. Definitely a danger, definitely a chance if you like it. Won't talk you out of it. Number 2, Think It Over, coming down from Sydney. Great win first up. Looked A-class winning that. Forget second up. It was on the heavy. Gets the perfect track now. Good track. Definitely the danger. Just scares me what Profondo did last week, hanging around the corner. First time in Melbourne, I think it is for Think It Over. So it scares me a little bit. But Nash loves cash. I'd be, if you like it too, won't talk you out of it. Spanish Mission. Great first up run. Didn't think it would run 1,600 metres or even be suited. But 30 days between its runs, is it being set like a European break between runs? Second up, I don't like it. It's not my ideal horse and prep, but it might be going the European way. Barrier 10, as I said, 2 options, back or lead. I reckon they lead an outside leader. Number 12, Duas, coming out of the same races, Think It Over. Thought Duas should have won last start with any luck. Barrier 1 was stuck on the rail, nowhere to go. Somehow Jockey found room out wider and almost came over the top of him. Great run, ticking over nicely and wouldn't talk you out of backing it either. But the one I want to be on and make a bet is Maximal. Number 10. Call me crazy, but this could be the value horse and it's my bet of the race. Matty, stay with me. It's going to take a while how we get through this, but there is some sort of little way I found with it. So, what price do you give I'm Thunderstruck in this race?
Oh, $5-6.
$5-6. Okay. Well, it ran against I'm Thunderstruck in the Golden Eagle in one of their beautiful pop-up races in Sydney. And it was 2.55 away. It just sat 3 wide. It was alongside I'm Thunderstruck, but I just, first start off the plane from Europe. It's had time and condition. They say the second prep is always its best. So that ticks a box in my eyes. Last start, I think it's a total forgive. The trainer said he shouldn't have put blinkers on, and he still put them on, and it just ran like a busted. Yes, that's why we're getting odds, I think, punters. Now, the edge I've got on here, and hopefully, listeners, this adds up, and it all aligns. On the 6th of May in 2021, it beat Ellswood by 1.5 lengths. Now, Ellswood won first up in the Carlisle at Caulfield. It beat Call Sign Mav, who's $13, Surprise Baby, who's $34, and Spanish Mission, who's $4.40. Maximal was 17s, now is $14 for the race. Price difference doesn't make sense in my eyes. If Ellswood wasn't injured, it'd probably be around a $6 chance in this race. I just don't get the price. It's beaten Ellswood and it beat these lots. So I think it's a bet. Now, I even went digging deeper on it. I looked at its European runs the Melbourne way. I think it handles them. There's no worry. I don't think it goes the Sydney way. 2,000 metres, I think it handles. It's a tick. Huey Bowman and the trainer have said this is a Group 1 horse in the making. Huey stays on. That's a tick. Barrier 3 sits behind the leaders, and at $14, I'm happy to find out what it has got. Matty, did that make sense?
I just can't believe you had to bring up Call Sign Mav again. We had about $12. It does make sense. I think your most pointed point was just at the end there. Huey on board, and the trainer does and jockey believe that this is a Group 1 horse.
I think, yeah. When I've typed it up, $17, I'm like, yep, I'm happy to back that. Probably get 20s on race day, and it's in the 14s. So someone's seen, I reckon, my little form line.
Okay. So you can jump on early and might be wound in a little.
Oh, I reckon just have, if you're going to have, say, 20 each way, have 10 each way now, and just wait till race time, because I reckon they might come for Think It Over, Cascadian, Call Sign Mav, I reckon they might come for. Duas, they might come for. Spanish Mission, I reckon, might blow. I could be completely wrong, but J-Mac goes on, so that's the scary part. So, yeah, let's go with Maximal.
Okay, good. Look, I thought Think It Over and Spanish Mission would be exceptionally hard to beat in this. Think It Over, as you mentioned, don't worry about its last start, and 2,000 metres looks very, very tempting. $3 isn't a great price, but it's probably around where it should be. Spanish Mission, probably heading towards a Sydney Cup, you'd expect. So might want a little bit further. As you mentioned, I wouldn't be surprised if Think It Over does come in a touch.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, around the grounds, I'll kick things off here. Flemington, race 8, number 8, Aim, has had a jump out and thought it went super in Sydney. Horse goes well fresh, form around Apache Chase. I'm thunderstruck and 11 reads well, and you can have $26 at the moment. I think it's an each way play for me. So, and Ollie goes on board. So, Aim, race 8, number 8, Flemington. Matty.
Perfect, mate. We've got a Friday tip here. Goulburn.
Let me get my phone ready. Hang on. What? Goulburn.
Race 8. Pretty amazing. Now, pretty amazing was scratched from race 5 in Melbourne, and that's where we're going with Argentia. I was quite keen on it. It looks like that Waller has seen that wasn't too keen on jumping from the car park, so has decided to keep it in New South Wales. It's running tomorrow. Liked its liked its last 2 starts, but realistically, its last start with J-Mac on board was very exciting, to be honest. It came from wide, a long way back, and I found it was probably going to stack up to the horses that were running around in Melbourne. So, New South Wales, Goulburn, currently $8. So that will be a play. That will be a play for me.
Wow. That's
then we'll stay in Sydney. Still not overly keen on the heavy tracks up there, but we're going to stay with Rule of Law. Now, it doesn't mean we have to back it every start, and we won't, but we'll handle the heavy track. What really attracts me to it for this race is Barrier 3, 55 kilos with Tim Clark on board. No disadvantage whatsoever. Quality jockey when all the other quality jockeys are down in Melbourne. So a lot of ticks for Rule of Law this time round, and it's 5 from 5 after being gelded. So absolutely on fire.
Beautiful. And that's it?
Sorry,
All
mate.
right. Was that it for
That's
you?
it. That's it for me.
Beautiful. Pineapple of the week. Well, I don't think it's too hard to know where we're going with this one. I think I made it pretty clear. Home Affairs in the Newmarket, it'll be winning in the Pineapple of the Week. So, Brett, from my subs, you get a $50 on Home Affairs to win. Hopefully it keeps blowing and we can make it a bigger result. Matty, any best bet from you?
I'm just a little bit concerned at this rate. I'm not going to get the pineapple back. I'm quite keen on Home Affairs as well. So I'm very happy for the pineapple to be going on it. But in terms of my best bet, very keen on Argentina again. As I said, if it won last start, I think it would be even monies at best. So that will be my best for the day.
Might be a little multi there. We might have to play their punters. All right, guys, that's the end of the show. I know we're going a bit over as normal. We do apologise, but we thought a deeper dive into the beautiful races we have this weekend. It is Super Saturday, the last Super Saturday forever, because Australia Cup's going to move on, thanks to the All Crap Mile. But thank you for listening, guys, and we will be back for the next week's episode of the All Crap Mile. Have a good weekend, Matty.
Thanks, mate.
Goodbye, punters.